To start off my Deepcore Galactic series, I'll be going in order of things I can give the most advice on based on my experience and expertise. It's mostly going to be played by ear, but overall I'll show the classes, mission types, warnings and anomalies, biomes, and more. Again, the order will vary since some things like overclocks require a lot of experience to know what works best and needs a lot of time to get them all. That one won't be coming out for the foreseeable future. With that being said, the first videos will be about classes, with this one being the scout. The parts of the video should be labeled, so you can skip to the parts that you need to. So, let's go ahead and go over the loadout for the scout. That was a really nice timing on the animation, but starting off with the primaries, I've got the Deepcore G2 or GK2. It's really just a flexible, all-around good assault rifle. You can't go wrong with it. When in doubt, just go with Deepcore. Going over the modifications, as I said in the disclaimer, this is mostly personal preference. Chances are this may not work in Hazard 5. I haven't tested all of my loadouts in Hazard 5, and a lot of this is personal preference, so don't flame me in the comments. Without further ado, though, let's go over it. So, in the first one, we've got accuracy or rate of fire. The accuracy, really, this thing, even at long ranges, you can single tap, you can do a short burst. It has never been to a point where I'm like, okay, I really need the accuracy upgrade. I've honestly just had more use out of the rate of fire, especially when we're talking about close ranges. You never really need that base spread. It's the base spread, Jesus. It's not bad at all, so I wouldn't take accuracy. Damage or total ammo. So this one is a pattern that goes between really every weapon. There's going to be total ammo or total or damage with every shot. So you should do the math if you want to be the most competitive, I guess, is do the math. So in this case, 18 times 375, that's the total ammo you can do with this damage upgrade. Or in this case, 16 times 475, and that's the most damage you can do with this upgrade. And in this case, the more ammo will give you 900 more total damage. So considerable upgrade. So definitely go with the total ammo here. And plus, I don't think you really need that 2 extra damage. 16 is a pretty good number. Again, with this whole gun, it's just average. Like, it's not bad at anything, but at the same time, it's not really great at anything either. It's just reliable. The old reliable. We've got recoil. This is just standard recoil dampening, damage, 1 point of damage, or magazine size. So in this case, go with damage because, well, I mean, I didn't do damage here, so may as well do it here. Plus, I've never had a problem with recoil, especially in Deepcore Galactic. I mean, compared to other FPSs, this is super manageable with any weapon. And the magazine size, I've never, like, 30 is good. It's not huge, but it's by no means I'm reloading every single second. I don't think 10 is going to be that really helpful compared to 1 extra damage, or technically 475 total extra damage. So next row, weak spot bonus, armor breaking, or rate of fire. So armor breaking, I just wouldn't go with it. I never really think you should go with armor breaking in terms of, like, especially the scout. But I mean, with a gunner, with a driller, okay. But especially with the scout, just don't go with armor breaking. You're wasting the little ammunition, little capable damage you have, because the scout is not damage dealing. It's not focused on that. So weak spot bonus does help a lot. I mean, you get 30%, not a huge amount, but if you're aiming like you should be with a scout because you don't have that much damage capability, you can do considerable damage. You can help out your team a lot. And if you're aiming towards the mouth, you're aiming towards the ass of a Praetorian, you're going to be doing 30%, you're going to kill it 30% faster. The rate of fire, that's, more justifiable. If you want to go with rate of fire, sure, but I find more damage to be more helpful. Then we've got stun, we've got killing an enemy increase or decreases accuracy. Last one is moving after you kill an enemy. So really, this one's kind of just whatever you want. I go with stun just because if you stun someone, then you can have them freeze in place and you can aim easier. The accuracy, I just wouldn't go with it. As I said, with this point, I don't find the accuracy ever to be useful. And we're talking about after you kill the enemy. If it's on the other side of the cave, well, you're going to be killing them slowly anyways in order to aim. If they're right in front of you, you don't need an accuracy upgrade at all. So really, it's just not that reasonable. And of course, I don't have any overclock, so I'll just have that. And next weapon, so the M1000. This one, high skill cap, not that reliable. I will not go against, huge enemies like the boss fight. Better than the plasma carbine, but we'll get to it. So in this build, I go for total just damage, weak point damage build, and I can one-shot glyphs to the face, which can be useful. I haven't been able to make complete use of it. I'm not that good of aiming, or good at aiming, but if you can consistently hit the mouth of a glyphid, you can clear hordes with ease. So with the M1000 Classic, I would definitely always, or almost always, go with the Nuk17s, just because I'm in update 35 right now, and there's no, the third secondary hasn't come yet. I don't know what it's gonna be or how it's going to work, but in this case, just use an SMG with the semi-automatic high single damage dealing weapon that the M1000 is. The SMG just gives you that full automatic power that you don't get with this thing. That you can, if you use the Boomstick with the M1000, you can find yourself in some really troublesome times. Because if you're going against like a horde of swarmers, what are you gonna do? I mean, you can hope that all of the individual shells or pellets in this thing will just be guided by God and hit every single one of them individually. Or you can just take the SMG. So anyways, more about this. Total ammo damage, go with total ammo, more, or 1200, not 12,000, holy crap, 1200 more total damage. Even though this is a damage dealing build, at the point that I'm already able to one-shot the majority of enemies that I'm going to face, I don't really find a use for that 10 extra damage, especially when we're talking about, considerable from 96 to 136. It's really useful. Focus mode, so I can focus faster, recoil, less recoil, and armor breaking. So in the case of all three of these, I would go with focus mode just because, you're gonna aim faster. It's kind of helpful with overclock. That's what I'm using just because, why not? It's a fun overclock. Recoil, I don't find useful because you're gonna be wanting to aim precisely with this anyways, so the recoil doesn't really take much effect. The armor breaking, you don't have enough ammo to really want to shoot at armor, so I wouldn't do that either. So for the third, it is focus shot damage, not just normal focus shot damage, so extra 25%, or magazine or clip size. So this one is definitely more debatable, just because you don't always focus, and paired with these two, it's definitely reasonable just because you can focus more and you can get more damage with that focus. But you may want to go with magazine size if you hate how often you have to reload with this thing. But with that being said, focus shot gives you that 2 shots in 1 shot damage, and you have some extra 25%, so you can deal absurd amount of damage in 1 shot technically. So weak point bonus, obviously I'm going with weak point bonus because of this build, or blow through. Although when you think about it, blow through can work. It's really hard to make use of it effectively. You have to think about lining up your shots, you have to hope that they're all in a line, and it's really just not worth it in the end. You can't get those glory moments because they do deal damage to everyone equally in succession. So for the fourth one, blow through, so you can go up to 3 or through 3 enemies, and weak point bonus. So obviously I'm going with weak point bonus, that's the build I'm using, but also blow through, it's not super viable. You have to think about lining up the shots, you have to hope that they're always in a line, and it's just not something you can consistently make good use of. Sure, if there's a huge swarm in front of you, then you can use it, I guess, but weak point bonus, if you can manage to one-shot every enemy in front of you, then how useful is the blow through it in the end? So to the last row, this one is definitely the last row is almost always debatable for everyone. So we've got stun, makes them just sit there. Fear, which will make them turn around if you do a focus shot, or reload after you kill someone. So in this case, I'll go with stun because this is a focus shot when you stun, and if you're gonna focus shot on someone, well, you're gonna be slowed down. And the hover clock kind of changes the whole use of the focus shot, but let's just POV, you're shooting a Praetorian, you go around it and you're like at its side. If you do a focus shot on it, well, it's going to continue moving around and you're going to be stuck there for a little while trying to focus your shot. If you can manage to get it in the weak point in the back, then it's going to sit there and you can move to the very back and then it won't really be able to whip around and hit you as quick and you'll be able to get off another, one or two shots. So lastly, the DRG 25 Carbine. I don't really know why they name it a Plasma Carbine, because is it really a carbine if it's fully automatic without even a magazine? Anyways, the first one, we've got a rate of fire. This thing shoots so fast already, I don't really see a use of it. A lot of, with overheating kind of heat-based guns, rate of fire usually just makes it so you're going to be chancing overheating faster. I don't really find it that useful. So cooling, less heat generated per shot. That was, if you want to go with that, then go with it. And then projectile speed, I go with projectile speed just because, it travels slow enough. Not that it's just super annoying, but if you're across a huge cave, then you're going to have to lead your shot noticeably a bit, and it's going to get quite annoying the bigger the cave. So with total ammo or damage, even though it's a whole 9 damage, not even 2 digits, you're going to want to go total ammo just because it gives you that total damage capacity. You can do more total damage and there kill more enemies. And that 2 damage, it's not really going to make much of a difference either way. So next one, hot feet. Don't go with hot feet. And the reason why is because you're going to overheat, and then you're going to run away, and then you're going to make sure it's, back to normal, it's not overheated, and then you're going to continue firing, and by that time, the enemies are just on you. It's better just to keep a sustained fire, and you have a grappling hook for a reason, so it's not really that useful. And cooling, you can't go wrong with cooling. Then accuracy, I don't find accuracy to be that bad. It's got noticeable spread, but it's got that kind of natural spread that it's kind of it feels kind of normal for the weapon. I don't mind it. Then we've got electricity, splash, which is very interesting. I've had a hard time trying to make use of it. It's just, sure, you can hit thin armor, you can hit any small enemy. In comparison, I'd rather just freeze the enemies in their place for any enemy. That separation of damage doesn't really help that much when you're going to be wanting to aim towards the weak points anyways, just because it deals so little damage. 4 now. 4 direct damage. And please, just don't do armor breaking. Please don't do armor breaking. Then we've got the manual heat dump, which I always forget I have, or the thermal feedback loop. So this one I would not go with. Kind of for the same reason as the hot feet, but you're going to be balancing, teeter-tottering between 50 and 99% heat. It's going to take a lot of focusing, because I tried this. It's going to take a lot of your focusing trying to keep it there. You're going to be bursting, making use of that Carbine name, and is that extra rate of fire when past 50% really helpful, when in reality you're just turning into a burst gun? Is it really helpful at that point? So just think about that. I would rather take the manual heat dump and just completely get rid of it when I do that reload animation, despite me always forgetting that this thing even exists. So moving on to the secondaries. First, we've got the shotgun. Obviously, I've got the special powder. You can't not have the special powder, but also I'm using a damage jumping build on this one and the Nuk17s, but with this one in particular, damage, pellet count, and the blast wave, you can deal so much damage as far as basically killing. I think I've been able to kill a Praetorian in one, 2-shot, basically. I mean, 2 barrels, 2 shots. And making use of the double trigger upgrade, you can just go boom boom, and then it's dead. I have sometimes run into instances where I think the game cancels your second shot because you deal so much damage in a little period of time. And lastly, fear. If you shoot them, then they'll start walking away. Heat is useful. If you want to go with heat, then you can try it, but I just want to go with auto reload. Because if you have Born Ready, which chances are you're going to want to have it on the Scout, which I'll get into later, I would rather have the Born Ready perk and then just have, Fear or Heat. I mean, these two are more important, and Born Ready perk affects every single weapon, the flare gun, the Deepcore, and the Boomstick. So next, the Nuk17s, or the Zhukov. I have no clue how you pronounce that. I have the embedded in detonators, so this kind of is revolving around that. For the M1000 I'm pairing with, I just have full 2. It's kind of just more, it's really just a balanced Nuk17 SMG, but here it's more like radical extremist. We've got total ammo. That made no sense. I've got total ammo, rate of fire, accuracy, again, total ammo, and movement speed. So movement speed is a given. It's just a really helpful thing because you dump the clip so quickly. It's really just, no matter what build, the movement speed is a really nice thing to have because it lasts quite a bit of time and you can get a considerable distance away from your enemies, and it's after you reload. So rate of fire, it allows you to embed those detonators really quickly. The accuracy, this thing's accuracy, no matter what, is pretty abysmal, so I'd rather take that than any damage. And just briefly going over this, obviously I swapped the total ammos out for damage and weak point bonus, just because then you got 13 damage. This thing can do a surprising amount of damage. When you multiply these numbers together, it deals more than some primaries. It's kind of crazy. Actually, I don't know if that claim is true, but it's a ridiculous amount of total damage. So moving on to the flare gun, the support tool. This one, I'm going with max duration, and the reason being, I've never really had an instance, as long as I'm playing the game regularly, I'm resupplying, I'm moving through caves, I've never had a point where I'm like running out of my total ammo. Maybe I've gotten down to the last magazine, but even then, I haven't run out to 0-0. The full duration, it lets you just relax. You shoot like a flare or a few flares up if it's a huge cave, and with correct positioning, it's going to light up really everything you need, and you don't have to worry about in the middle of a swarm the cave going completely dark on you, because it's 105 seconds, it's over a minute and a half. That's a lot of time, and chances are you'll be in small caves that can cover, or that one flare can cover. You'll be in there for maybe a minute, a few minutes. So in terms of total ammo, you can go with both total ammo. Just, I really don't get why you would. I would have duration on one of these and total ammo on the other, if anything. I just don't think you're going to need, what is that, 18 rounds and 75 seconds each. You're just going to be shooting up non-stop. A considerable time difference, and you're not going to be using 18 flares in a single mission. Let's get real here. And rate of fire. Just don't. Just don't. Just don't. Like, I mean, reload speed, you reload this thing, but obviously you're not going to want to go with reload speed when you've got the Born Ready perk. And rate of fire, I mean, the rate of fire, why would you do the rate of fire? You've got fire, why would you shoot 4 a second? Please answer me. Why do you need to shoot 4 flares in a single second? Why do you shoot these flares so fast? You're slinging this thing across the entire cave at max speed. Why do you need to shoot them across the entire cave in a single span in a second, moving the mouse across the entire mouse pad? Alright, moving on to the grappling hooks. This one, reach. Up here, I've also got reach. Charge speed, I've got charge speed down here, so I just took reach, and this plus this extra reach, it allows you to cover really mostly any cave. Down here, the resistance, you shouldn't really need this as long as, you know, you're somewhat experienced in a grappling hook. You should be able to not die on every fall. I'm not saying you won't die in any fall, but you'll still die on some of them. The movement speed, I would not take movement speed because this activates as soon as you let go of the grappling hook, and by the time you hit the ground, it's going to be such a small amount of time to have a movement speed that doesn't really matter, especially when you're taking into account that you just grappled away from the enemies, so there's no reason you'll want to move faster away from them when you're already farther away from them. The third one is probably the most personal preference out of any of the scout builds. So you can either have the gun grab a wall faster, or you can have it move you to the wall faster. So I choose move you to the wall faster because then you'll be able to just sling yourself across any cave. It's just more fun. Technically, you don't really need it when you have special powder, but it's just pretty useful to be able to not only grapple really far across the cave, but then sling yourself across the rest of the cave. And if it's absolutely ginormous, use the boomstick to just hover like 2 shots, do a quick triple jump across the rest of the cave and get to wherever you need. With this build I have, with these upgrades and the special powder, I've never had a cave where I can't get across the entire thing. So for the grenades, I'll be honest, I've never used the pheromone cluster, but it just doesn't seem useful at all when you're comparing it to a cryo grenade and the IFG. So these, you can choose what you want. I would use them both. Obviously, you're going to need to use this in the beginning, but I use a cryo grenade because this can just instantly get rid of all those super small, annoying flying things and swarmers. Although the IFG is really useful when you're dealing with large enemies like oppressors or something and need to get around them. So lastly, let's go over the perks. So first with the passive perks, I will go with Born Ready for most of the loads you have, because that is really useful for, you know, you just shoot a flare up and you don't have to worry about it again, it'll just automatically reload. It's especially useful with the M1000 just because it has a small magazine size and you can just empty it, switch to your SMG, have this reload this while you just dump this, and you're reloading while you have the movement speed. So, you know, it kind of works together in these other two. Just ignore these just because it's kind of the same with every loadout that I have. Although I will say deep pockets can be really useful when you're going up to the top of the cave getting some minerals. You don't have to keep on going back and forth as much. Hover boots and heightened senses are what I use for the active perks because, well, hover boots, you can dig yourself into a little ledge when you slingshot yourself, but the hover boots is also just useful in general for breaking your fall and stuff. And of course the heightened senses, not because I can't look up, because I totally forget to look up every single time I play this game, but also just because if you're going ahead of the crowd, you know, you have immense speed with really any scout loadout. Your grappling hook will get you through those small connector tunnels really quickly, and now suddenly you're like a minute away from your team, and then you just died to a grabber on the ceiling. Well, now you're a burn to your team, and now hopefully they don't get into a middle of a swarm and they have one less person. So it's just very safe to have this, and plus I've never been able to hear the sound that the grabber makes aside from maybe one time. And yes, the ceiling grabber actually does make a sound cue that you can barely hear. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get ourselves into some gameplay. Okay, so first things first, I just joined a random game. I'm going to try my best to describe what I'm doing as I go along. Obviously, it's kind of hard when I'm going with the team, just because then I'm staying up with the team and I'm not going at my own pace. Just two things that I wrote down just to remember. Always move with the scout. Just always move. You have so much mobility. You should always move. It's taking a while. And also, you can guide through the air with WASD. That's, I mean, with any class, but with this guy, you can see I just guided myself through the air after I let go. using WASD and also pointing your mouse technically. So, nothing really much to show right now. If I wanted to, I can just, go all the way in front like this. Oop. Yeah, but I mean, you can see, holy crap. Okay, watch this. This is why I like the crowd grenade. Yoink. Okay, well, I only got 2 of them. That was kind of sad, but you can, as I said in my DRG Galactic guide, you can insta-kill all flying enemies with it, so it'd be really useful. Okay, I'm gonna die here. I need to move back. God damn it. Okay, that was a really shitty move. Oh my god. Okay, not off to a good start. We've got 3 gunners, though. Okay. Not a good start. I'm trying to explain what I'm doing, and I'm getting distracted. Okay, so you can see just pay attention to the accuracy, what I was saying. If I just do this, it's not a problem. It's really not a problem at all. I don't think that's worth accuracy upgrades, especially here. Wow, there are a lot of spitters. What the hell? Okay, let me kill these spitters. And you can see it just does reliable damage. Nothing insane. What the hell was that noise? Oh, that was weird. Okay, well. Just killing the rest of those. Just want to get rid of them as soon as possible. Someone's got to do it, because they're annoying as hell. So I know with 3 gunners, I don't really need to help with that. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Is it right there? I honestly have no clue where it went. But either way, 3 gunners will be able to take care of it just fine. So I'm just going to do my own thing for now. But it looks like I took care of really all of the other things, so... Oh. Make sure you always grapple into it when it doesn't shoot an explosive right next to it, because the shield, protects it, but also because, yeah, it got both of us. If you can go inside of the shield and, hurt it while it's just getting everything else. Okay, so we're back. Let me try and not do shit plays for the rest of this. I'm gonna, even though I don't have the medic stuff, I'm still gonna play the role of medic because we're dying a lot. We're all dying. Just gotta deal consistent damage. You can see I just did a shit ton of damage in the health bar with that burst. Okay, stop firing at me, please. They're getting them. Mules on the ceiling. Just get this last one. We'll have Betsy. Awesome. Wow. I kind of shot him far. So, yeah, that's, trying to do this. I'm not really good at this right now. Commenting while I'm doing things, but right now I'm just going with the flow. I mean, not much explaining to do. I'm just grappling everywhere that the team can't get. Oh, oh, did I just... Holy crap. We're rich. Nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my grapple to get the hell out of the crappy situations I'm getting myself into. Oh, okay, that's cool. Just segues over to the main area. It's a really nice area for the, I don't know what that's called, just radar thing, basically. And I'm just aiming towards the mouths of all of the glyphids, just because I have the weak point bonus. Oh, okay. So there I kind of stole the red sugar. I didn't really want to do that, but next time I see... Okay, I just didn't... You saw that there. What? Oh. Getting distracted. I did a lot of damage to the Praetorian. I want to get the red sugar off the ceiling. I'll do that. And the team is taking care of this detonator, so I'm just going to do that now. As you can see, if I was not able to do this without the distance upgrades, so let me just knock this off. And there we go. Now I just gave my team red sugar. I'm going to get this one too, so that they don't have to get up here. Maybe, eventually. One more. Okay. That's not working. Just always with the scout, go to places your team can't. If your team can get to a place, and they'll eventually get to it, just focus on everything your team can't do. And that's like, really with everything. Whatever you're really good at, focus on doing that first, because your team is good at doing other things. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so what's going on right now? I need to light up the caves. I've noticed I haven't been doing that because I've been distracted. So with all of the flares, you want to kind of just aim upwards. You never want to have them close to the ground. There's a distance. I'll just shoot them over here and you can see. This thing is lighting up right here a lot. You don't want that. You can see it spreads all the way over here. So you can have a considerable distance from the ground and still line it up plenty. I just forgot to turn, I just remembered to turn on the game audio, sorry for that, but there's nothing really important that you really need to know that was in the game. So, caves light up, if I want to, I'll just shoot one right over there, and now we have a full view of the cave. So, I've been doing a pretty bad job at my job of lighting up the caves, just because I've been very distracted. Talking and trying to explain what I'm doing gets me very distracted. But either way, whenever you enter a huge cave like this, as I said in my guide, you're going to want to shoot flares everywhere you can, enough to light up the cave to the point that you have a mental image of the whole thing, because your map does not do its justice, really. Here, I'm going to use my hover boots, and this one I'm going to be able to do this, and then just mine the rest of it. Awesome. What else I'm gonna do? Just kind of look around, look at the cave, see if there's anything on the ceiling that I should get. Nitro right there I could get. Looks like the gunner's trying to. He's got a zip line over there. I'm gonna shoot a flare just to see what's over here. Nothing. Seems like we've got this cave pretty well. Looted it pretty well. Also right there, I caught myself on the zip line. If you just hold E and you know, you get in range of a zip line, you'll be automatically sucked into it. You don't need to spam it. Where did the meal go? There it is. Okay, so it seems like he wants me to get the nitro, that's fine. Oh yeah, I see it. Zipline didn't really help that much, so just gonna gather minerals. Chances are you'll always be on the top for mineral gathering. Ow. So in this case, nothing more for me to do. I'm just gonna shoot there, just because now this entire place is nice and lit. Okay, so looking on a terrain scanner, nothing that we haven't explored. Pretty much ready, so at this point of this game mode, I am not really doing my job anymore. I'm just gonna be another person to support. I'm gonna be focusing on healing people, just because, I mean, 3 gunners, come on now. We're good. This is Hazard 4 and 3 gunners. What can we not face? I'll also just make sure I'm keeping the cave lit. What the hell?
Set up the uplink.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I really don't even have to do anything here. They've got it. Ow. I don't know what this thing is hovering on. It's... Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Now I got it. That was weird. But either way, just gonna keep lining up the caves, and I mean, you'll see how long these flares last. They last a very long time. So in this case, you're gonna want to light up all of the angles you can come at, or people can come from. I think that is not needed. Okay, I want to keep in the corner. Oh, hello. So I should light up that. That flare burnt out. Keep one right above us so it lights us up. And then I should shoot one, you know, right where that thing is, so that we can see them all coming from that direction. And really, this is the scout. You saw in the intro my use of the scout. You see in the Deepcore Galactic guide, a lot of it's like my best clips of it. Don't deal much damage. You really just support in terms of damage. You just help the team do things faster and more efficiently. And I mean, that's really all I need to cover. Let's just go ahead and finish this mission. If you want more gameplay, there's another detonator. What the hell? I'm going to throw 2 of those. I don't know what just killed me, but with the detonators with really large enemies, didn't do it. But if you have to throw 2 cryo grenades in order to freeze them. I really should have brought the medic here, because in reality, game modes like this where you don't travel much, you don't really need heightened senses, and I always just forget to change my perks based on the game mode. Where is he going? Where's he going? Excuse me, sir. Boink. Cool.
Fuel cells have arrived. Get them connected to the drop pod.
Alright. So we just passed the first wave. Don't really need ammo, but I'm still going to take it because I need health. Actually, I think there is health over here. I'm going to ping it if no one else has taken it yet. Okay, someone's taken it. Seems like.
Charge cable plugged in. Prep the fuel cells for charge
Bruh.
sequence.
Bro, well, Jesus. So I was gonna say, if you want to see more gameplay like this, in the end there will be a end card to a video, and in the description there'll be a video. I have already, at the time of this video, I've released the engineer and driller, but after this I'll be releasing the scout example gameplay. It's really nothing more than just applying these concepts again in just another game, seeing if I can not die a lot like I am here. That was a good... I missed with that shot, but you can see there, I didn't fully do the damage, but I have had times where I deal the entire damage of a Praetorian. I'm gonna shoot up a flare. Even though this thing is lining us up enough, I didn't really think about it. Still gonna do that just because it's nice to have.
Incendiary grenade! Fuel cells at 75%. You're almost there.
Actually, just gonna throw a... That didn't work well. But I'm just gonna throw some grenades because I have a lot of them and I want to use them. Excuse me, sir. Get away from me. So, I mean, also as you're seeing, I'm shooting this gun. I'm not reloading often. Like, I'm reloading enough, but not enough for me to go, okay, I need an extra 10 rounds. And also, I reload fast enough that it's not really that unbearable. I'm gonna throw one of those. Make sure I don't get crushed by the drop pod or supply pod.
Calculating orbital trajectory.
Hello. Ow.
Powering radiation shielding. Ecom operational.
I'm gonna shoot some more flares because the cave's getting pretty dark. I heard a Praetorian. There he is. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'll blow him up all the way. Please. There we go. That was a lot of damage. So, you know, it does a lot of damage. The shotgun does a lot of damage. Oh.
Retrieving escape pod.
Oh. That was a GG. So I definitely carried my weight in this one, despite dying the most. You know, it happens. I did also heal the most. Didn't actually mine the most, which is kind of surprising. But the other guy was doing a lot while I was off dying repeatedly. Again, card to a example playthrough video. The gameplay just didn't really, you know, show the ultimate power of the Scout. Well, it definitely showed what it's like to play, how you can play it, stuff like that. And I showed everything I really wanted to. And also make sure to go ahead and check out my Deepcore Galactic guide in general. If you want to just, for general tips, there are some things I didn't really cover in this video, like the total purpose of the guide, because this is really Scout specific. My Deepcore Galactic guide is really just to the whole game. And hey, maybe you need some advice or some second opinions on the other classes. Go ahead and check if I release those. At this time I haven't, but in the future I probably would have. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.